Well, thanks for warming up the crowd, Father. Under promise, over deliver, right? Oh, it is, as a son of a PC grad and a brother of two PC grads, this is really an honor to be here. So thank you to Father Shanley for your spirited introduction, and thank you to everyone in Alumni Affairs and the Development and the Events Office for putting this here together, a weekend themed on leadership. Weekend themed on leadership and being part of the Friday, Saturday, Weber, Gergen, primetime lineup that's billed around Cambridge as the awkwardly tall, white Harvard employee 1-2 Providence Punch. That's what they're calling it. Gergen, Weber to speak at St. Dominic weekend, or as the Providence College press release said, Weber Gergen to speak at Providence College, which earned me immense amounts of street cred around Harvard. And I'm assuming Gergen probably saw that article and went, hey, it's Friartown. So true to the headline, here I am. And in so many ways, I am home. I'm walking around campus and Providence and being instantly transformed into the sort of cadre of Friar alum who return immediately to posit, that wasn't here when I was here. Wow, another castle being built. I wish I was a student right now. And on the train ride in from Boston yesterday, I was thinking about how this college, that I've always considered my academic and spiritual home, is reflecting on the popular phrase that states, you can't go home again. And I never liked this phrase, but in some literal ways, I understand it to be true. My little sister spent 4 years living in Dorr Hall, and for her to go home again, she probably has to sign up for the MBA program. It's the newly accredited business school. Yet in a broader sense, the business school, yeah, that's a huge accomplishment. Yet in the broader sense, the maxim of not being able to go home again has never rung true for me at Providence College. Yes, there are different faces and buildings, even a new curriculum now, but it is always still home. And it is an honor to return to you here tonight to this, my alma mater, with tidings and toilings of the real world, hopefully some proof of concept that the men wearing white are doing something right, and to share a few stories that perhaps ring the common sound of our collective core chorus, Veritas. It's like a State of the Union. And I threatened Father Shanley if his introduction was too negative, I'd pull one of these empty chairs up here and go off prompter. I still may do that. But then he's marrying me, so then that won't end well. And so this sort of tale of me begins with a confession to you all. To be honest with you, you see, at PC, I truly thought this was it. I had peaked at age 22, and for a kid who grows up wearing a Friars basketball jersey at age 4 and knows both the names of Marvin Barnes and Renee Fortin at age 9, life could not get happier than at PC, and I was okay with this. I was good at 22 going, this is the best part of my life, and I can ride this out until I'm 70. That's how great of an experience and how much I love this place. I was around the best people. I had learned so much. My seminal experience, my halcyon days. I just dreaded the moment when I had to leave. The people, Providence, the possibilities, and oh, the pizza. So good here. Yet as the clock was nearing the midnight strike of my requisite precious time at PC, I took hasty action. Yes, I had gotten into Boston College for a master's degree, and yes, I had lined up a summer fellowship on Madison Avenue in advertising right as the show Mad Men was starting, and while promised all the earthly riches of Don Draper, minus all of his personal baggage, I could not risk leaving my Providence College, leaving my home, for if you never leave, you're home always. And this is how much I absolutely love this place. So I took drastic action. Father Ken, you're going to get a shout out soon. I looked at master's degrees and positions at Providence College, jobs in every department, and then even scheduled a meeting with Father Ken Sicard. I sat in his office, and Father Ken Sicard, looking ageless, the same way he looks now is how he looked 10 years ago. It will be the same way he looks 30 years from now. What is your secret? Tell us. You look younger than me. And I looked at him with all these ideas and things, and I told him, essentially what I'm telling you now. And he said, Matt, I think you might gain something by leaving us for a while. You've got great opportunities set up. Go out into the world and share the gifts of Providence College. And then come back to us. Well, tonight, I am back. I practiced that line with the Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'm back, but that's an I'll be back, and it just didn't fit for this speech. And my tidings and my toolbox and travels are here as well. After that meeting with Father Sicard, myself, like an old ball player in the movie Field of Dreams, who steps off the Iowa baseball diamond after that special game, I took a step off the figurative baseball diamond of Providence College, and I entered the cornfield into what so many would consider the unknown. I had my Don Draper summer. I had 3 years at Boston College as a graduate student and a research fellow, and then after 20 consecutive years of Catholic education, from the sweet, stern sisters of St. Joseph to the good, dear, brilliant, kind, charming, handsome, wonderful Dominicans, to the Jesuits of Boston College, I applied. Are there any Jesuits here tonight? I like them too. I applied and I was accepted to Harvard. One final degree, technology, innovation, education. And I actually wanted to study with the creators and the producers of Sesame Street. Over 40 years ago, that's where Sesame Street was founded pedagogically. And to one day work on Sesame Street. I was a product of public broadcasting. And I put in my admissions personal statement, I want to unpack the educative, pro-social pedagogy of early childhood media production through summative evaluation and entertainment analysis. Translation from Harvard speak, I want to teach kids by being funny so that they don't even know they're learning. And I think that's one of the sort of beauties of Sesame Street. And so at Harvard, classes began. My PC education served me more than well. In classes with faculty and study groups, even a Brown University cohort mate commented, maybe I should have taken some classes at PC. Intellectually, I would often reach deep into my PC liberal arts toolbox and employ one of the late Rodney DeLaSantis comments during Civ when he said, Matthew, Thoreau said, simplify, simplify, simplify. If he really meant it, he would have said it once. I love that. You guys should use that. And I always gave Dr. DeLaSanta credit for this one, but I felt so smart, and I really mastered the art of removing my glasses when saying this and looking off into the distance. Now, socially, I was golden thanks to my PC training. Quick note, I come from a long line of Kraft macaroni and cheese and milk drinkers. And I'd shared in many meals with the Dominicans. And I learned the ways of refinement and high society. And during one dinner, a Dominican friend, when asked which cocktail he wanted ordered, said, "A beefeater martini, straight up dry with a twist." Slightly naive at the age of 22, I was unaware of how a drink could be dry, what exactly was being twisted, or in fact, what type of drinkable liquid was a beef eater. But boy, did it sound like a cool drink. And I ordered that at Harvard soirees and sounded so cool. Beefeater martini, straight up dry with a twist. It's your drink, you know. So socially check, intellectually check, spiritually. How was I doing at Harvard? I would often have to pass on Sunday brunch in order to go to Mass. There were no public prayers before exams or crucifixes on the walls there. It almost seemed like religion didn't sort of fit in to the intellectualism of Harvard. And so in the beginning of my time in Harvard Yard, I quietly just considered myself an incognito Catholic. Yet for a 9-year veteran of the Association of American Altar Boys, that doesn't exist. A frequent daily Mass goer at St. Dominic's Chapel, which I love, and just a general lover of my God and my church, my classmates would eventually discover that I was Catholic. And boy, did they have questions. "Oh, I've never met someone who's still Catholic in their 20s. Why?" They get better. "If you have a sore throat, do you gargle with holy water?" Which author of the Bible gets the book royalties? Do you know any of those albino villains from the Da Vinci Code? And my favorite one, when you play chess, are you overprotective of your bishops? If they asked me that tonight, I'd say that's malarkey. Then I'd make a lot of faces. Yeah. Now, most of these questions I had never gotten before. After all, religion and Catholicism, they were the status quo, the pro forma in all the places before. It was not different to be Catholic at Providence College. It was completely acceptable, encouraged, in fact. My 4 years at PC instilled in me a deeper love for religion and for Catholicism. Yet here, in what my older relatives refer to as godless Harvard, religion was far from sexy. Spirituality was okay, but religion, it was archaic and corrupt. It was old and passé. Let me preface with this. There was no hostility in these questions, just basic curiosity. Why religion? Why still believe? I had not been asked that question in my entire adult life. I had never been challenged around the dinner table. My lovely mother never pushed me to question, "Matthew, why are we saying grace right now?" At PC and even at BC, everyone went to Mass. It was cool. And the later you went in the evening, the cooler you were. I was a 7 p.m. guy, never really made the 10:30 p.m. crowd. I'm okay with that. I'm sure some of them are here. So here I am in my mid-20s, completely befuddled with how to answer the most simple, basic question of why am I Catholic? Is it inertia? Is it tradition? Is it habit? I took a long pause, one that may have lasted an hour or a week or a minute. The spectrum of time and memories is almost trivial compared to outcomes. In my first non-Catholic school in 2 decades, a place that used to sponsor yearly lectures against popery, not potpourri, but popery, anti-pope lectures, you get it, I sort of had Harvard is for the smelling things in the bathrooms. And at one point, they didn't like the Pope. Now that I guess they're okay with it. But 2-3 years ago, I had sort of a second confirmation. Why do I believe in the Catholic Church? It is an organization that, while imperfect, stands for what is good in the world. It is built on a tradition of love and hope and joy and charity, social justice, care for the poor, and is really good at helping people. The sacraments are filled with so many graces, and the community of believers across the world, what a team to be part of. No, we don't gargle holy water. The Da Vinci Code's a load of crap, and in chess, my queen's name is Mary, and she's worth 10 bishops. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow friars and friends, that first semester, I guess I decided to sort of come out as a Catholic at Harvard. And doing this amongst a peer group whose baseline knowledge of the church is from 10 years of abuse scandal headlines in Boston and Dan Brown novels, it was more of a challenge than admitting this year I'm a Red Sox fan. Paw Sox did well this year. Now, I thought about the questions asked to me at age 26 and how difficult they were for me to answer. Reflected on the countless young adults across the world who may not know how to answer these questions much earlier, 18, 19, just entering a state school and seeing that, hey, mom's not dragging me to church anymore. Why should I still pray or go or believe? And suddenly my desire to work on Sesame Street and teach children to read and count and play nice, they were being eclipsed by, in my opinion, a greater need. A young generation who is in the process of throwing the Catholic baby out with the Catholic holy bathwater. People who weren't proud of their Catholic tradition or culture because it had been sullied and dragged through the mud, in some cases with decent reason, but people who give up on the church and the Eucharist. They forget about the Beatitudes, the community of saints, the charity, the community, the people, and find more interesting Sunday diversions because the music at church isn't good anymore, the homilies are too long or boring, and it's all old people there. I saw it amongst my friends, punctuated by the questions at Harvard, and realized in major cities across the country, when you step out of the Catholic bubble and even think about doing this before a plane ride, or saying God bless you to a stranger on the subway, you are living a public faith life. And it's not easy as an 18 to 35-year-old. There are a few models or figures in the church media who attempt to reach out to this generation, to speak plainly as a peer in a way that is accessible. How could I speak to them, share what I've learned, lead a new perspective on young Catholic imagination? Just so happens that the Catholic TV network is located 4 miles west of Harvard's Yard. It's a national cable channel that broadcasts to over 13.2 million households, and I thought it couldn't hurt to try. 4 emails, 2 phone calls, and 3 weeks later, I'm sitting in front of the president of Catholic TV and the general manager in their front board lobby. I was wearing a suit that's slightly too short in the arms, case in point. Got a weird figure here. I can never buy suits that look good on me. And in the weeks leading up to the meeting, I had prepared 3 pitches for 3 different shows demonstrating the joys of living out a faith life, connecting with these 18 to 35 population in a way that is funny, faith-filled, and educative, rather than just words on paper. I even produced a 2-minute segment, proof of concept video, an essay of sorts, the subject of why I stop in front of a Mary statue on my bike ride home to check in with her, to pray in front of her and just honestly say hello. Still trembling, papers and laptop to my side, I was given the nod. They said, "What do you have for us, Matt?" Essentially, I told them a much shorter version of what I told you today. The challenges of living a life of faith in a secular world, the issues of connecting to young people, or trying to make the content funny but not irreverent, not conservative, not liberal, not politicized, something that demonstrates the bread and butter, the meat and potatoes of the Catholic Church and is relevant as well. And I pushed play. The video ran, and 2 minutes later, the general manager, misty-eyed, looked at me and said, "Matt, I'm going to put this on the air today. The president sitting next to him, tears in his eyes as well, said, "When can we have some more?" For the past 2 years, my close to 90 segments have been anchoring the Catholic TV news magazine show Clear Voice, which just won a Telly Award for Best Spiritual News Show this past year. These 2-minute video essays, entertaining parables, slice of life became the show A Word with Weber, Fridays at 11 a.m. or downloadable at catholictv.com. And I am referred to on websites, blogs, and in the media now as the Andy Rooney of Catholic TV. Not based on eyebrow length. Definitely incognito no more. I spent my last 2 semesters at Harvard focusing on the art of digital storytelling, the need for religious literacy in the media, and the importance of combining good video with good religion. I put out a call to my classmates to see if anyone else wanted to help me with this work, and in the most wondrous of responses, people of all faiths, Catholics, Buddhists, Sikh, Muslims, Baha'i, even atheists, all came together from out of the sort of secular woods to share not just basic tenets of their faith, but stories and portraits of living out a religious life in young adulthood. And so we fast forward or rewind to 8 months ago, and I received a mysterious email from a man named Joseph who worked at Loyola Press in Chicago. He says, "Matt, we like what you're doing on Catholic TV, and we're wondering if we can turn it into a book." While that meant my bedtime might be pushed from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. for several months, I honestly could not say no to an opportunity to share the joys of my faith, a faith instilled in me by my parents, my family, and refined and crystallized in so many ways by the good Dominicans and people of Providence College. And so, a book proposal, sample chapter, table of contents, marketing plan, manuscript, cash advance, contract, publicity blitz, and national book tour booked, all while still producing A Word with Weber, working full-time at Harvard as a digital strategist. And did I mention I'm getting married to a lovely Texan at a Dominican parish in Houston? You'd think I'd be pooped, and while I am occasionally, finding a vocation, a mission that brings you both joy and fulfillment is a rare gift. In many ways, it was reminiscent of experiencing the gift of Providence College. I wasn't a theology major there. I'm not an expert on religion. I'm not a scriptural scholar. Please don't ask me to name the 10 Commandments. I sometimes get confused who covets who. But at my core, I have learned from this order of preachers how to preach, how to teach, and how to inspire through story. To do so emphatically, to own my words, to not be incognito, to believe in simply what is good and that which is true. And to observe so many examples of that stewardship from the moment I stepped on the PC campus to this very moment, right now, amongst you all, huddled around shared common values and an absolute love for an institution that fosters so much of that which we all deem important and worthwhile in this world, and we all choose to be leaders in this century-old journey of Providence College. Boy, was I lucky to find this place, and to have not just met the fine people and ideas present here, but to have embraced the knowledge, wisdom, and framework of a school that can take an awkward boy from Western Mass and help shape him into a man, kick him in the butt and say, "You gotta leave for a little bit," only to welcome him back in the grandest of ways. You can go home again. And here amongst you all, I must say, it sure is good to be home. Thank you. It's all for you. It was all about you.